Hey guys, so this year for Coachella, I wanted to do something super sick, and you know, Marshmello is playing this year, so I thought, hey, why not try to make a dope ass mellow head? Well, here it is. Here's my second mellow head that I created with the very low price of blood, sweat, and tears. Oh, and you know, maybe $500, but you know, whatever. So the first thing I did was order up the mats on Amazon. I'll put the list in the description. The most important, however, is the 12x12 acrylic cylinder you can find on retailresource.com. It's the absolute perfect base for this project, and it is a must. Once I got all the materials, I got to work cutting out the eyes first with a Dremel. Just a standard Dremel, nothing too fancy. After sanding the cutouts, I took a 15-inch subwoofer speaker cover and cut out the same pattern, but this time with steel cutters. It just makes it easier, trust me. Then I glued in the eyes and mouth with a shit ton of hot glue. Make sure to be generous because you don't want them coming off. So the first time I made a mellow head, I had a big issue with people being able to see through the eyes, and I hated it. So I came up with this solution to use a thin vinyl car window shade to kind of double reinforce the eyes and mouth, giving it that pitch black look that I wanted. It makes it a little harder to see, but it is super worth it. Once glued in, I jumped into the hard part, the LED lights. The first time I attempted this, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck did I get myself into? But believe me, it gets easier, just don't expect to complete it all in one day. This is painfully tedious, but you don't want to rush it or you will mess up your mellow head bad. That being said, I was about 3 rows into soldering and gluing, and I had the bright idea to hot glue the connections as well to make sure that it didn't come undone. Do not do this. If you somehow make a bad connection and need to redo it, the hot glue will fuck up your day and you will have to cut off the LED and then solder another one on. Needless to say, it was a goddamn nightmare. Anyway, after getting the lights glued in, I made sure to take the 5V and the ground of the 6th row and solder long wires running to the base because each 6 strips will have its own power source to make sure that the lights are all at maximum brightness. Once all of the lights were lit and looking good, it was time to mask and paint. This step was surprisingly hard the first time around, and I just have to reiterate to spray light coats. For the paint job, I did about 4 coats of flat white and 5 coats of clear coat, waiting about 5 to 10 minutes between coats and blow drying with the hair dryer. You want to sand the paint with 800 grit sandpaper between the flat and clear coat, and then again with 1000 grit on the clear coat after it dries. Once painted, I took some thin Evo foam pads and cut it up into panels and then cut the face out again, then glued them on the inside with some heavy ass duty PVC glue. I got the fast grab kind for foam and it worked really well for everything. I shaved the top off of a hard hat with a Dremel and glued it to the top and then let everything dry. Then I threaded the wires to the inside of the helmet where I glued the Arduino to one of the panels and the battery pack to the panel right behind the helmet. I used the PVC glue here as well, but I also used some hot glue around the edges to really reinforce it. I cut some USB cables down to size and wired it all up. And for the finishing touch, I cut out a thin circle for the lip out of some thin acrylic I had left over from the first helmet I did, but you can just buy a panel at Home Depot or something. After the lip was glued in and everything was dry, I took out some polishing compound and really buffed the shit out of it until it was really shiny. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Jonathan and his V2 Mellowhead tutorial that I used for inspiration for this project. Oh, and his Mellowhead Arduino code, that's pretty cool too. Thanks, and see you at Coachella.